Bearcat Bounce podcast. Back at it again. Back at it again is what I'll say for this crew. Back at it again is what I'll say for the football team in Cincinnati, home from Camp Higher Ground. Week 2 of fall camp. The favorite 2 words for everyone to say, fall camp. Back at it again after additions to the football team and the basketball team. Back at it again with more reports from camp, more excitement as football is back. This is the month that football returns, the month that we will see Sorsby slinging the rock on television or in person if you want to be in the house with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Back at it again as well with my guys, with my crew, with the squad. So without further ado, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm good. A little tired. It was put a lot of miles on the car this weekend, Brent, from Independence, Kentucky to West Harrison, Indiana to Lexington, Kentucky for volleyball. Roughly about 600 miles in 3 days.
600 miles?
In 3 days. Just going back and forth between the 3 places. Yeah. It was a lot. But, I survived. I literally felt like I was going to lay down on the bleachers at Nippert Stadium and take a nap this morning during practice. That's about where I was at. No, I didn't. I powered through.
Coach Caldwell would have caught you again.
No, I was going to lay down behind the in the end zone, where the wall is.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to lay down behind the wall so he couldn't see me.
Oh, smart move.
He yelled at me Saturday. I was just sitting there. He's like, wake up. I'm like, I'm sitting here, jackass.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But I'm here. I'm good to go.
Did all the traveling pay off? Was it good success on all fronts? I mean,
no, not really.
Oh.
No.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead. Shut the door quickly on that one then.
Yeah. They went 2-4. They played 6 matches. They went 2-4. Wasn't a great weekend.
Makes you stronger.
We'll see. Or it's a bad sign for the next 2.5 months, Brent. One of the two.
Let's hope that's not the case, because we have plenty of BVPs Monday after those weekends.
Yeah.
Hope that's not the case. Aye. Aaron, sir, how are we down there in the corner?
I'm good. Just happy to be done with kids for the day. So, school starts next week. Can't wait.
Yeah. Jeez. School's back. Speaking of back, that's crazy. Welcome back to school. Was it a rough weekend with the crew?
No, just today was a lot. So, little adult time now.
I feel you, dog. I feel you.
I cannot relate, but I feel for you. Ryan, the boy, we're back. Landlord is not bothering you this week, huh? How are we?
Yeah, because I got to move out of this house in a couple of weeks. So there was an issue with the air conditioner, and he needed to come over ASAP so that he could show the house and make sure I wasn't suffering. So I had to deal with him very impromptu, but much rather be here doing this than dealing with maintenance stuff. But
yes,
I'm doing well. Just came back from my cousin's wedding in Cleveland. Got to see the whole extended family, which hasn't happened in a really long time. So it was a great weekend. Excited to catch up on, like you were mentioning in the beginning, the best time of the year. All we can do is hype it up now for a couple more weeks, and it'll finally be upon us. I can't wait.
Exactly. Every team in the country is looking great. Every team's quarterback is completing a lot of passes. Every team's defense is winning some games. But I tell you what, there's no better time than right now, getting to hear these names and how fired up you get doing it. So real quick, Ryan, what kind of guy are you at a wedding? Like, was this a little bit more toned down, Ryan, at a wedding, or was this full Ryan Royer effect?
I'm a pretty one-speed guy, Brent. It's either all or nothing. We
I
don't
like
play. We don't play in that gray area when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I
damn agree.
like the dance floor. I always try to find myself over there, especially with my cousins. Haven't seen them in a long time, so kind of had to challenge some of their dance moves and get some good bonding time with the family. It was awesome though. But yeah, I'm 100, not 0.
Amen.
Who do we think had more fun this weekend? Ryan at a wedding or Keegan in Las Vegas?
Oof.
Ryan wedding.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not even close.
Depends on how
Keegan
much
said to
money
me
Keegan-
today, we were talking to practice. He said to me today, "Are you a Vegas guy? Did we just meet?"
He said that to
did
you?
He said that to me. Are you a Vegas guy? I know when you go to Vegas, you don't get your hair cut and go to the gym, do some laundry. You don't gym tan laundry while you're in Vegas.
What was his follow-up to the question?
Well, I just didn't know. I didn't know if that was something you liked or not.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. Yeah. I like Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Why do you think the Big Ten Media Days were so much better this year? Because they were in Vegas. Come on now. It's a known fact.
I mean, do you think I would have been at Pac-12 Media Day, the final hurrah for Pac-12 Media Day last year, when Keegan decided he was just going to hang out in his hotel room instead of go crash the party?
Open bar too. It was at that Pac-12 Media Day.
Yep.
It was.
Free open bar. I would have been in that spot. There's no doubt about it. Only for the drinks, I would have said, "All right, guys, good luck this year," and leave out. Royer, I'm with you on the wedding, man. Full speed, 100%. Can't slow down.
No, only one way, brother.
I've completely ditched wearing the ties to weddings. It's just like, by about 9 o'clock, I'm like already, a couple buttons down off the shirt, and I'm just ready to get out there on the dance floor and burn it up. So I'm with you. Full throttle. Speaking of full throttle, if you go full throttle in your car a lot, it tends to get a little bit of wear and tear. Tends to need like an oil change and need a, after Chad Brendel's weekend, his weekend where he drove 700 miles almost, and within like a 100-mile radius, that's impressive. You probably should head over to Danco Transmission out of it. Tell Danco Joe that check out the car. Tell him to, hey, BBP sent me. Hey, $10 off the oil change. Hey, 10% off the fixing over at Danco Transmission Auto Care. Danco Joe, we love you. Chad, head over to Danco Transmission Auto Care. Right across.
I probably need something done to my car after this past week.
Well, then I think he can hook it up.
It hit me like I was pretty good all weekend. The ride home from Lexington yesterday, like literally, I just felt like I crashed head first into a wall. Liz, you better like shove me, punch me, do something, because I'm about to fall asleep driving this car.
Dude, there is nothing worse than that.
That's how our defense felt on after day 5. Hopefully there's a lot of similarities between our Bearcat defense.
God, that's a segue right there. I was getting ready to dive into falling asleep behind the wheel, but no, I'm going to pass up on that story. Dive right into the talks of camp. You know what, Chad? You've been there every day.
I have.
I've just been following from afar, which is fun, which is also, difficult in the same sense. 1 week in, I can positively ask this question as, what would you say culmination-wise after week 1 is the most promising thing that you've seen, whether it be position group, whether it be connection between Sorsby and someone, whether it be someone on defense stepping up, that has kind of been an underlying thing that maybe gives you a little bit more credence to, hey, this was maybe an area of concern that popped up, but now we're easing through it. What's really been kind of that one main thing through week 1?
For me, the main thing has been that there's been give and take. Like it's been, I'd say today was pretty close. Like the offense made some plays, the defense made some plays. Like I thought today there was a pretty good back and forth. Saturday, the offense won. Friday, the defense won. Like there's been, it hasn't been one group clearly standing above the other, which makes me feel a little bit better about kind of where the whole situation is at, because the defense, especially when it's difficult to really get a feel for things like Monday and Tuesday, they're in helmets and shorts. Like Ryan knows you can't tell a whole lot from that. But then Wednesday they're in the spider pads. Saturday they're in pads. Today it's full go. You start to get a little bit better feel for things, and it feels like there's a legit give and take. It feels like there's some balance that, for me in doing these camps for as long as I have, the best teams I've covered have had that back and forth day to day. Defense has a good day. Offense goes back and watches tape, fixes some things, gets a little edge about them, gets a little pissed off. They come back and have a big day the next day. And then it kind of tug of wars with the line in the middle. You don't want that tug of war going too far one way or too far the other, because then you really start having to asking yourself, is the offense bad? Is the defense bad? Like where are the breakdowns? Where is this coming from? So for me, that's really been the most important part of camp so far, Brent, is that there's been an answer. The offense could have sputtered for a couple days after what the defense dominated Friday for the most part. There could have been a little sputtering, and instead, the first 3 quarters of 7-on-7 and 11-on-11, it was just touchdown, 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 touchdown. It was insane how well the offense played for most of the practice Saturday. And then today the defense bounces back, they respond, and it's a pretty even day. So, the best teams that I've seen here have had some of that. And it hasn't just been, although, even in 21, the offense was good, but the defense was better more days than not. But that's also because it was the top 5 defense in America.
Right.
Right. They should
Especially
be better
2 corners
more days than not,
yeah.
right? They were pretty freaking good. So, that's just so far, that has been the box that I've wanted to see checked, is that there's going to be, a little bit of back and forth.
And I think it's the way when you talk about back and forth and how the defense has been hanging in there early, because you kind of alluded to it before. Defense normally is just installing base defense, and it's kind of like the offense can kind of pick you guys apart sometimes in the first couple days. But I think it's a sign. It's a good sign. It's a sign I think we were expecting, in a way where we knew we were going to have a solid defense, and this defense was going to take a step. And it's good to see them kind of already balancing the scale this early in camp. And I think it's, just seeing that there's good competition already. Both units are going to be installing more of their, personnel, more of their attack on each side. So it's encouraging to hear that. And, when you mentioned the offense kind of picking the defense apart a little bit, was it more of explosive plays? Was it just kind of like dominant run effect, or was it kind of just like chunking up and down the field? Did you feel like the defense was making like a lot of mistakes?
There was some busted coverages on Saturday, because there were a couple times there were guys just running open down the field that you could tell something got crossed up. I don't know if that was they're starting to get into a little bit more of the playbook, and guys are, figuring out, okay, can't be here because that'll mean this is open over here, stuff like that. Wednesday it was Sorsby just went ballistic. Like he just went outside of his mind and got hot and was making some really tough throws. The coverage has been sticky so far. Like that's the one thing that I really like what I've seen from the corner group, and then the safeties, is the coverage has been much better than we've seen, recently. Saturday it started in 7-on-7, and guys just started making plays and contested catches. And then next thing you know, there's some guys running open because I think the defense might have panicked a little bit because guys were making plays, and then it kind of snowballed. I will say the one thing I liked is the last like segment and a half, the defense settled in and kind of turned the spigot off. But man, there was about a half-hour stretch where I promise it was like every other play was a touchdown from the offense, which we just haven't seen that type of explosiveness from the wide receiver group here for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see it's not just now. Cyrus Allen and Jeff Caldwell are going to be the two main guys, and they're making plays. But Noah Jennings, Isaiah Johnson, Elijah Jones, Gio Contosis, you're starting to see it spread around where there's, a number of guys. And that, as you know, that puts an incredible stress on a defense. If Allen and Caldwell and Royer are getting a lot of attention, one of those guys, that's what this offense hasn't had. The teams paid attention to Henderson and Royer last year, and when they kind of bracketed them and took them away, Tony Johnson was pretty good in that scenario, but he wasn't doing anything more than 8, 9 yards, 10 yards at a time. We've been seeing 25, 30-yard plays, guys dragging over the middle and making catches down the field, corner routes, posts, like more of the route tree that makes me feel good about this being somewhat more sustainable than we've seen the past 2 years, because like really with Henderson, curl, go, maybe a deep in, but we didn't see him run a whole lot else. And these guys are so far being more explosive in a bigger variety of ways.
Yeah, and you're kind of making it seem like it's better on better in terms of competition in comparison to last year. So that's a good sign.
I think so far.
We knew that we were better in both the secondary and in the receiver room coming into camp, and seeing how both sides of the ball are like ebbing and flowing with each other, but that the receiver group is still gaining like a slight bit of an edge, I think is a lot better sign than it would be if the defense is just dominating, because I think this defense is going to settle in, like they're going to be better than they were last year, and just knowing that the offense has taken like a half step in front of them at this point, I think that's really encouraging, because we know Sorsby's potential, but without any weapons, you can't showcase that arm talent. You can't get out of the pocket, use your legs a little bit, and hit those intermediate routes. So that's really, really encouraging to hear that that Sorsby's like being able to take advantage of these guys finally creating separation.
Ryan, another big thing is if you know somebody's going to come open, you will hang out in that pocket for a beat longer, right? You'll have a little bit more faith that if I can maybe slide up, slide sideways, give myself an extra second or two, somebody's going to be open. And I think what you saw last year, definitively, he lost that trust that somebody was going to come open, because he was taken off pretty quick over the end of the season. And hopefully with this group, they've done a much better job. And I forgot to even mention Caleb Goody, who's been a big threat. That's been the one guy down the field. He looks like he can run past. Like he's going to run past. And it's not going to happen a ton, but you are going to see some instances where next thing you know, Caleb Goody's 4 yards behind the defense.
Which is what he's done his whole career. So,
that's who he is.
Yeah.
We need that.
But I just think there's such a mental shift in a quarterback when he has that belief that one of these guys can get open. And the difference in when he doesn't have that belief, when he goes, okay, I trust this guy, I got to check down and I can run. Boom, boom, boom. Get me the hell out of here. And I think that's what we saw. I think that's why the offense stagnated and was bad by the end of the season last year.
Yeah, and we already know how much the run game is a factor in Satterfield's offense. And we got to see last year the wrinkle of Sorsby being able to use his legs and his athleticism. So just knowing like what that can, how those receivers can get a little bit more one-on-one look or like separation, like a play action concept, or even that they got to respect the pass. So that it might open up that run box a little bit and let us utilize our O-line on those two solid running backs that we have. And even, some of that exotic action we were doing with motions, triple option type stuff. I mean, all that, everything gets better when you have receivers that can get up. It sounds so simple, but it really is. And everyone was wondering last year, like, man, why we can't score? We can't really have these explosive plays on offense. And, we've been beating the drum the whole offseason about, well, we didn't have anyone who can get freaking open. And just hearing already, 1 week into this, how apparent that is super, super encouraging, just making me more excited for the start of this season.
Yeah,
hell, I'd be excited with 1 or 2 guys.
Well, yeah, that's what I was
like
going to say.
They could get open.
Now
there's 5 or 6.
I mean, one thing that I look at in the practice reports that you guys post, which obviously great job on those. Go check them out on BCJ, BearcatJournal.com. Great job. Welcome in new intern. I forgot his name. Austin Bass. Catching fish out there.
What a welcome.
I had it in the head and I forgot it. Austin Bass.
Welcome to what's his nuts. Good to have you on the
Sorry, Austin. Come on the BVP sometime. We'll have to get a formal introduction. Anyway, one thing I look for is just recurring names and like dudes of the day and whatnot. And literally, it's been all the receivers. Yeah, Cyrus Allen, Caldwell. Noah Jennings literally got a comparison to Jamoy Mays, but taller, faster, stronger, and longer version of Jamoy
basically
Mays.
What would Jamoy Mays look like if Jamoy Mays actually Jamoy Mazed?
Right. And so you add that in, Caleb Goody can take the top off it. Then you've got this true freshman, and Gio Katosa. I like that catch that he had that was that the main account posted is just, I mean, nuts. Chad, are you, because I know a couple of years ago we did have a tiny glimpse where we were getting excited about D. Wiggins being able to take the top off it. And, obviously Xavier Henderson was someone that we all had a little excitement for. And then, you throw in just, Braden as well, another guy that you were like, oh, this guy can get open in the slot and whatnot, had some big games at Louisville. Is this different though? Because obviously you were there for each one of those. Right. But just seeing it out there on the field, it seems like it's kind of a scenario where truly Sat seems to be excited with everything he's got. Sorsby, every time he's beyond the mic, he's got a little bit different air of confidence and when he talks about his receivers. I just think that the whole group of them sounds to be a step up.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing, Brent, is going to be, it does depend a lot on how good Cyrus Allen and Jeff Caldwell are.
Yeah.
Because if those two are legit, it changes everything for everybody else, right? Teams have now you've got the run game to worry about and Joe Royer to worry about and 2 legit Big 12 starting wide receivers. And then the other pieces fit in a lot easier. But when the main pieces aren't really a threat, then those secondary pieces are never the biggest problem, Ryan, we've hit on this to death, right? The last 2 years, the offense has operated in like a 12-yard box.
Mm-hmm.
And your slot receivers, your field guys really aren't going to ever find a whole lot of space. Aaron's beaten this to death. If you can't move the defense past 15 yards, it doesn't matter.
That's a defense's dream.
Yeah.
If it's like, hey, I can cover you one-on-one in a 15-yard box quite easily, and I could shut down your run for 2 plays, put you in a passing down, and I
can
on
3rd and 7 all day.
Yeah. Yep. And then I can do I could drop 8. I remember that Texas Tech game where everyone was just like they're dropping 8 every single time, and we're all like, why can't we figure out anything to stop this? And it was only until like the end of the year when we finally realized that
nobody's open.
Yeah, nobody's open, and there's nothing we can do. It's as long if we can't And I think that's why Satterfield really started leaning on the Sorsby run game, because it's like, let's just get an extra blocker in front of Sorsby with a running back just to try to, even the odds, so to say. But even that, the defense is like, all right, run your quarterback 20 times a game. We'll see how that treats you. We'll bet we'll take those odds any day of the week. So I think that's why you kind of saw that 5-game loss streak when the offense gets like pigeonholed into a defense's wet dream. So it's but Chad, I guess another question I'd have, you mentioned like 7-on-7 is always kind of weird sometimes, in terms of like translating directly to actual football, because sometimes the defense will have 8 players, and when you're doing like a 3-man front look like us, and it can kind of get a little bit unfair for the offense in ways. But did you feel like things kept pretty consistently when they put the ball down 11-on-11?
So far, yeah.
Especially with the run game getting brought in.
Yeah, I mean, you know how the run game is in camp. Like, it's hard to really.
Yeah.
They're blowing it dead. They're just thudding. Like, I have a hard time taking a lot of, other than like, there was a play early today where Tawee Walker just went through a hole the size of downtown. Yeah, I mean, he just flew through the hole and was running downfield. Like, okay, that one tracks. There was nobody in the vicinity to even like tag him down or thud him. I'm not worried about the run game, especially with the guys they've got in the backfield. I will say, Tawee got Xavier Williams. I felt bad for Xavier Williams today. They were down near the goal line. No.
Truck stick.
Oh, truck stick.
Truck stick. I mean,
like when he was at Oklahoma. I don't remember who he trucked here.
I do.
I mean,
he plays in Arkansas now.
Yeah. But they met in the hole, and Xavier Williams did not stand a chance. And one guy ended up on the turf, and the other guy ended up continuing to run towards the end zone. But I mean, yeah, it feels like there's more options, right? There's more possibilities. There's more things you can do. We're seeing a lot. I'm not going to get myself in trouble by saying too much, but a lot of motion, a lot of moving guys around, moving parts.
It's good.
A lot of, and I think a lot of this is, and you can probably expand on this more than me, Ryan. If you're a quarterback, you want to do that stuff because the defense has to tell you something.
It's another check, another thing you have to worry about on defense. Get some thinking, and it can expose tendencies in giving the quarterback what kind of coverage we might be in, whether it's zone.
Are we in zone? Are we in man? Right. Yeah.
But then the defense, we can wrinkle it by decoying, but it's just another thing they have to worry about. So if I was an offensive coordinator by playing defense for 5 years, I'm like, I would know, hey, motion our guys around, get guys moving, get that quarterback some inside info, make the defense think and communicate more than if they're just sitting there still. And it can also get your offensive guys a little bit of half a step leverage, either inside, outside, just by hitting the ground running, and so you can say.
But as you're running down the checklist of things that you wanted to see last year on offense, that's just another thing that we did not see, that we wanted to see, that we talked about wanting to see, and now we're getting to see. They're going in motion, great, because I don't feel like we saw that really at any point, at least not with any consistency last season.
Yeah, agreed. As far as the returning wide receivers, Chad, obviously Barry Jackson is a name that is like
what returning wide receivers, Brent?
Right, Barry Jackson is the name. Kari Anderson, just like kind of these guys that Elijah Jones has gotten a lot of mention as well. Barry Jackson has kind of just been a name where it's just like waiting to see him blow up. But was the revamp in the wide receiver room, has it kind of boosted them to up their game as well, or are they kind of having an effect there, or do you kind of see a bit of a pecking order and a bit of connection between Sorsby and a certain group of the receivers, like a rotation kind of being settled this far in.
I can tell you right now who I've seen making the most plays.
Yeah.
It's been the new guys.
Yeah.
You know, Barry Jackson has flashed a couple times. Dakari had a great spring. And I think they're finding some ways, some gadgets, because he's got absurd speed. Yeah. I think they're, looking for some ways to incorporate him, but you've seen the practice reports, Brent. There's a lot of Allen, Caldwell, Jennings,
Goody,
Johnson,
Jennings,
Goody. Yeah.
Right.
It's, there's 5 new guys that they brought in to completely revamp that room. And those have been the guys that have been making the most plays. It's not to say the other guys aren't making any plays, but, like Elijah Jones, I think he's got a chance to be a really good physical possession guy. Like he's not going to wow you with his speed, but I really liked his route running. I think he has done one of the better jobs. I don't know if I'm ready to say the best, but one of the better jobs of like finding space in his zone, and making himself available. That's, there's so much zone defense in college football right now. You need guys that understand it. That just to make a UC comparison, the reason Travis Kelce is one of the best tight ends of all time, he has made a living off of reading a zone defense, finding the gap in the zone, going and sitting down there and waiting for Pat Mahomes to throw him the football. You need guys that have that ability that can say, okay, here's the space. I'm going to go find the space. I'm going to wait there and allow the quarterback an opportunity to throw me the football. Yeah. I like Elijah Jones. I think he's got a chance. But if I'm talking about one of the young guys, Gio looks different.
He does. He's not a young guy. I don't think so.
Different. He is a young guy. He's built like an old guy.
Exactly, which is quite a luxury to have. I did want to just real quick, the tight ends. You've heard a lot of Royer. Sounds like Pat Gerd has kind of had a bit of a influx as well. Haven't really seen much about Grover or Devin Zahersky either.
They've been a little quieter than I'd like so far.
Yeah.
Grover's made a couple plays. They haven't been like game breakers, but he's made some first down grabs, some 10, 12, 15-yard type gains. I'd like to see him be a little bit more active.
Which it's kind of interesting because all the guys making the plays are, either players that have been brought in or upperclassmen, it sounds like, so that are returning, which I think is probably a pretty good thing right now in college football, because that's what the best teams do is, they plug holes where needed when it comes to, certain upperclassmen or certain experienced veterans coming in and filling a need. So I think that's a plus. Royer, any further questions on offense? I don't mean to do let's do an offense segment, defense segment, but we've kind of been all offense ridden right now.
No, I think this is about as much as we can talk about for 5-6 days now, 6 practices.
Right.
We are starting to. Aaron and I talked about this a little last night, and then added to it today. Yeah, they gave Joe Cotton a little bit of a take a breather day. He didn't do as much today. Still did all the individuals and the position group stuff, but wasn't out there for a lot of the 11-on-11. Xavier Lozowicki, who had been rotating at guard, slid out the left tackle today, and I thought he did a pretty good job there too. So you might be looking at a true super sub that can kind of plug in anywhere that you need him in Lozowicki developing.
Okay,
but if you play NCAA college football on PlayStation, Xavier Lozowicki is rated 2 points, 3 points higher than Joe Cotton. Just saying. Ooh. So somebody out there saw something.
Someone knows something we don't know, or the staff too.
Conspiracy builds.
There we go.
Or they don't know what they're talking about. One of the two.
That's probably more accurate. But
when it comes to defense, I mean, obviously the two position groups that pass rush and cornerback are the two main ones that I just am thinking about off the top of my head. I've seen CJ McCray's name pop up a bunch recently. Micah Coleman, Jalen Hunt, obviously both back from injury. Are you seeing maybe one or two guys that can provide a legit pass rush on the defensive line, or is it kind of looking like it's going to be a little bit more by committee and then using the linebackers as well?
And Chad, when you're thinking about it, could you think mostly about one-on-ones?
Right.
Who's standing out in one-on-one pass rush, D-line?
So I haven't done a ton of one-on-one pass rush D-line yet, Royer, because they're just now getting the pads on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much point in it when they don't have pads on. Would you agree?
No, I agree. But how we always did it, like first day of pads, it was like the juices were flowing, and it was like spotlight on one-on-one pass rush for O and D line, then running backs and linebackers.
Maybe that's one I will. I'll spend some time on maybe Wednesday. Or
that would be the best way to look.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll have Keegan go down there tomorrow since I'm doing the practice report tomorrow. Maybe that'll be a good one for Keegan to go get a look at some, and we'll switch off on it Tuesday and Wednesday. The one CJ McCray has been kind of flashing more than anybody else so far, like on that side of things. Jalen Hunt has gotten some pressure. It's not the flashy speed outside stuff, but he's had some bull rush stuff that's gotten him home a couple times. The hardest part about that is, you're trying to figure out with that second team offensive line who fits where, who is going to be able to help you. You get a lot more wins from the defensive line against that second team offensive line than you have against the first unit so far. Yeah. So I'm trying not to put a ton of weight in some of that yet. As they're kind of working through that. And you're seeing, like I said, they had Lozowicki, sub in for a day for Tengastal. They had Ethan Green sub in.
Get introduced. Hey, go play left tackle in one-on-one pass rush.
Right. But the D-line has been solid so far. I wouldn't say, we've had some years where it's been like the quarterback can barely get the ball off. The D-line's causing so much disruption. We're not to that point yet, but you're starting to see some guys establish early in camp that now it's going to be a question of, do we start day to day to day? We start stacking days of, okay, this guy is a guy that you're going to, have to keep an eye on. I will say Tim Griffin caught my eye today a couple times. And then I was watching him do some drills with the O-line where they were just working against each other. What's up, Joe? And Griffin looks like I don't know what we're going to see him this year. I think they would prefer probably to keep him developing for that first year in the system.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know where they brought in so many guys and they've got a lot of depth there.
Right.
So, maybe you get him a look in the Bowling Green and the FCS game later in the game if you can. But they need to establish some of those veteran guys before they can really start worrying about, like last year, Marquez Parker, because of the injuries, they probably would have liked to have redshirted him and let him play 4 games and kept a year of eligibility, but they didn't have a choice. I think this year they're going to have a choice with Griffin, but physically, like he's what you want a defensive end to look like.
He's the geocontosis of the defense.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. There's those young linebackers, though.
Yeah.
A couple of those are starting to pop out every now and again, too.
Okay.
Please tell me more. I'd love to hear about that.
Myles
and Harrison.
Harrison really is flashing at times. Now it's, typically 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
He's doing it against the younger guys, but from, 19 years now of doing this. The freshmen that come in and flash against the 2s and 3s are usually the guys that a year or two from now you're talking about, oh, okay, this guy's going to be ready to go. Like Myles Harrison, he has caught my eye more than a couple times. Ooh, 34 again. Ooh, 34 again. Okay. Ooh, 34 again. So, that's another one that I think I'm going to like. I mean, he blew up a play in the backfield today, like 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
Those of you keeping score, that's Myles Harrison, who was the least rated of your entire commitment class, because those guys definitely know what they're doing. So just saying.
If only he would have
chosen. It always
chosen...
seems like that guy that's last always seems to end up,
right.
Who's last in his recruiting class? Dante Corleone.
Mason Fletcher was really far down there. If only he chose number 35, he really would have caught your eye. Like really would have.
He's donning the famous Kyle Bolden 34, so he's got big shoes to fill.
Massive shoes, massive. I just still on the defensive line. Are you starting to, because it seemed like with McCray especially, he was a guy that like looked like at Virginia Tech he was going to take off because he went 2 sacks his sophomore year, junior year up to 3.5, and kind of played a bunch. And then his last year there, I don't know. I think they maybe brought someone else in or something, trying to work him somewhere else. But it seems like that would be good for him to be able to get back in his feet here and take off. What are you seeing out of, obviously, Jalen Hunt? It sounds like he's going to probably be starting at one of the spots. And then obviously returning from injury, when it comes to Micah Coleman, is he kind of picking up where he left off as that other starter on the front three and providing a bit of a rush? He
hasn't flashed a whole lot yet. Have you seen him in the practice reports much?
That's why I'm asking.
I mean, that's what we know.
Yeah.
What you see in those practice reports is what we're seeing at practice.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him a whole lot yet. Haven't called his number a whole lot yet. Now, does that mean he's been bad? No, it just means it's not, he's not been the one that's jumping off the page. So I still think that spot is up for grabs. He's been the one that's kind of lining up there the most, him, Dante, and Jalen Hunt. But CJ McCray keeps pushing. If Marquez Parker keeps pushing, he made a couple plays today. I think that is a position battle that we're going to have to continue to monitor all the way up until kickoff against Nebraska, and probably even more than that.
Yeah, right. Linebackers are obviously super exciting, but they also are pretty damn established at
real
this
quick,
point.
Hold on. Time out.
Yeah.
What's up, Greg? Greg.
Let's go.
We're going to be hearing from Greg a lot more here soon, as maybe I don't know. Greg hasn't picked yet. I'll give you. Greg is on the team. Yeah. Greg is part of the team. Riffing with Royer, Mailbag. Like, we don't know exactly what does Greg want to do his own thing and come up with something new. But Greg's part of the team now.
Let's go, Greg.
Joe and Greg right next to each other. So
now
a little sneak preview. Greg, maybe I take him just for the BCJ pod.
Oh,
I don't know. We haven't worked all that out yet. But welcome to the team, Greg.
Let's go, Greg. Welcome.
Greg's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
Greg's a great guy. You can find him at the Republic of Cincinnati tailgates on Saturdays on the grid. And I've known Greg for a long time. Happy to be working with him. But can't wait. Greg and I need to talk here this week and figure out what exactly his cup of tea is going to be.
Amen. I love it. Greg, you're getting me fired up. Only a little more than a month till tailgating. Cats walks, charges down the steps, and football at legendary, historic Nippert Stadium. Golly.
Can't beat it.
Talk about excitement. Cornerback, because I mean linebackers. I'm thrilled, but what am I going to gush about Jake Golday and ask like how awesome is Jake Golday? We all know. Let's hope that he just takes that next step up and just blows up onto the scene. I think he will. But a cornerback, I'm a little bit more interested in. Obviously coming into it, the talk was McDoom at that CB1, Logan Wilson trying to itch his way in there. Is cornerback 2. Has there been kind of that set like Ormani Arnold? Is he's making a
He's
step
been
up?
dinged up, so we haven't seen a lot of Ormani Arnold.
Okay.
The guy that's really taken advantage, I think, has been Daniel James.
Okay. Dan James and Kai Stokes are 2 guys I'm hoping because they've got that extra length. I think Logan and McDoom a little bit on the shorter side, but it seems like James and especially Kai Stokes have length. Are you seeing them kind of really etch themselves into the mix? Yeah, Daniel.
Stokes, I'm wanting to see a little bit more out of because all the physical traits are there.
Yeah.
Remember, it's a kid that hasn't played cornerback, so still adjusting to some of that. I'd like to see him flash a little bit more. He's had some. It's not that he's been bad. He's been getting beat all the time. I just like to see a little bit more like top of the notebook stuff from Kai Stokes.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel James is having a good camp. And by the way, it's not fall camp, Brent. It's not fall. Fall doesn't start until September 21st.
I heard you guys had that argument, but
it's preseason camp.
Royer, did you guys call it fall camp?
We did.
Yeah.
It's not fall. Fall's not even close. Like if it was September, if it was like the month of fall, like you're right. Calling it fall camp is like putting out pumpkin spice lattes in July. It's not the season.
They put out the pumpkin Reese cups in July,
which, by the way, those seasonal Reese's, man, those knock your socks off right there. Boy,
put something in them.
I've heard a conversation on that. They say it's because it doesn't have the crispy edges. It changes the chemical composition, getting those edges crispy. The seasonal ones are just smooth, just the smooth chocolate and peanut butter. It changes the chemistry in your mouth when you eat them.
Every year around Easter, my friends and I in a group chat, we have a contest to see who can eat the most Reese's eggs in like one little setting, and about a little 30-second clip. We all send it to the group and just pound those Reese's eggs.
But the seasonal ones are elite. But it's not fall camp. It's just camp or preseason camp. We're nowhere. It's the middle of fucking summer. It was 1,000 degrees at Camp Higher Ground.
I did see the pumpkins at the gas station the other day, Aaron, and I tell you what.
So stupid.
Ball to me. A pumpkin spice latte. I do love those tasty Starbucks, man.
You would.
Starbucks gets me fired up.
It says so much about you.
I love Starbucks.
You're such a basic bitch.
Anyway, Daniel James. Talk a little bit more about him. Obviously the highest ranked recruit. Is he the highest ranked recruit in the Satterfield era? I think. I obviously don't want to quote myself on that.
He's one at the top for sure.
Right. He's starting to flash? I think it was what Logan Wilson was saying, that he's being more vocal and kind of getting his confidence back. Was that kind of the only hurdle? Was just maybe getting confidence to go out there and do what he's been able to do?
I mean, some of it's just adjusting, adjusting. It's when Ryan can speak to this, when you're a freshman, you don't know what you don't know. And you're trying to figure it all out. And then as you get a little bit older and you start to, like he has had in the spring leading into the summer, he's started to have some success. He's started to see his work pay off. And then as that confidence grows, you become more reliable. You become more consistent. You become a guy that's making plays on a much more regular basis. And that's kind of where Daniel James has been. Arnold has been a little dinged up, and there's really not a clear-cut number 3 guy behind Logan Wilson and Matt McDoom.
Mm-hmm.
So that opportunity is there. And he has been the one guy so far that is jumping up to grab that and take advantage of it and move his name up the depth chart. So he is becoming a guy I'm much more confident that we're going to start seeing on Saturdays, especially on special teams, and then working his way into that rotation at cornerback. He's playing well. He's playing confidently. He's a guy that, we've been watching since he got here because of his ranking and whatever. Now it's starting to turn into production and turn into more consistent production. Then you start to say, okay, where does this guy fit on Saturdays now that he's starting to take that next step?
Second highest rated recruit, by the way, in the Satterfield era. Samaj Jones, number 1, which it looks like he's kind of had some bright spots and some difficulties as well. Based off,
he's got to learn to control that cannon. But I mean, he's overshooting. He's overcompensating. You got to take a little heat off the fastball, young man. Mm-hmm. He's sailing passes. He's throwing timing routes too hard. Like, the arm strength is not a question. The touch, he got to figure it out.
Roy, I'm going to bring you in a little bit here. Your thoughts?
Let Royer talk some. Fuck, I talk way too much.
Your thoughts with this defense? How important those 3 safety positions are? Because I mean, it seemed like last year injuries and then kind of just like it was just a constant like flow of like certain safeties had big time, game or two or a handful, and then they would either get hurt or would have to sit out a couple of I don't know. It seemed like there was never really a full set in stone. Like, these 3 guys were the definitive starters and they had a great full season. For you, do you think that's kind of the most important position group with this defense? And then Chad, are you starting to see a little bit of a 1A, 1B type flow out of the safety group?
Yes, it is the cornerstone of this defense operating on its potential. So like I meant, like that boundary and field safety have such an important role in like the run fit and the flow of the linebackers, like flowing the ball out. And that was going to be a question I had for Chad, just how you felt like the fits have been like flowing like from the linebacker position out to the safeties. Most of the stuff that you're not going to see it a ton inside the tackle. I know you mentioned where Tawee had a huge hole he ran through on one of those plays, but those safeties, pass game and run game are essential. And what really unlocks their ability to, make an impact is being able to disguise, their coverages, being able to disguise their run fits, disguise their blitzes. And so that was something I want you to have an eye out for, Chad, is the run fit. But especially by the end of this week, I think you're going to see a lot more installed in that secondary in terms of different looks on how to disguise coverages, different blitz packages with a combination of the safeties and the linebackers. There, that's something that we know Veidt has talked to us about, where how he feels a lot more comfortable. Everyone seems in sync, from that D line up to that safety position, and how he feels that he can really expand his call sheet this year. So that's something that you're not going to see everything installed in camp. But as the week, once you get right around that end of week 2 and towards week 3, you're going to start. What Veidt is going to do, he's going to install a good amount of stuff that he thinks is going to work, and he's going to throw in a couple wrinkles there that he's going to want to test out to see if that could make that week 1 call sheet. So I think you're going to see a lot of new stuff. So be on the lookout for that, because that's what's really going to unlock the potential of that safety room and really help them elevate this defense. Because without them, they play directly. Having a guy like Dante, he's only like Dante can make such a big impact on the game by eating up 2 blocks. But if you don't have people, if you don't have those 3 safeties that can hold it up in the back end and make plays and keep run plays within that 3 to 4 yard range and not miss tackles, then that once him and the D-line are playing complementary to that safety unit, that's when this defense is really going to take a jump from being a win generator versus a like, how do I put it? They're going to win. They're going to help us win games, not just keep us in games. So.
Yeah, and I think some of that is still. I think they got they got a lot of bodies that are capable. Trey Gala-Collard and Barnes is another guy that can really make plays. Where does Harrison fit? You're starting to see, I think, the interesting thing for me is like Peak has multiple interceptions, forced a fumble.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, you like Christian Harrison, or not Christian Harrison, but Xavier Williams is kind of feels like the leader in the clubhouse for that star position. But how much can you keep Peak off the field? Because we've seen this the past couple of years. Early in the season, we don't see a lot of Antoine Peak, and by the middle to end of the season, guess who's out there a lot?
Right.
Antoine Peak Jr.
And then you got Sanks too.
And then Sanks, who's a physical freak. They've been working on Quavo, Marcavius Sabor, working him some into the rotation at field or at boundary.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess who caught my eye multiple times today? CJ Crite, the freshman.
Wow. Yeah.
At the star position. So there's a lot of bodies back there. It's an interesting 2 weeks for Tyson Veidt, Ryan, because he's got to figure out there's 7 guys, I think, that are Big 12 caliber safeties. Who fits where and when? Yeah. And, that's going to be something he and Coach Braithwaite are going to have to figure out, because it is kind of the backbone of this 3-3-5 stack, or three high safety look, whatever you want to call it, whatever terminology you want to use. Safeties are the backbone of it. It's what makes things difficult on quarterbacks because they're not used to seeing it, but you have to have players that make it different. And that continuously over, it was interesting last week. Is there a storm brewing out there, Brent?
There is. It's a brewing. You see
it
the lightning flash
behind
you. Yeah.
That or UFO.
Ominous.
It could be
ominous.
both. Could be both.
The scenes are ominous behind you, Brent. But Ryan, I'm fascinated with it too, because
I could shut the blinds, but I'm not gonna do it.
No, just it looks it's like a Halloween show.
You want to suck your blood.
How many lightning strikes at Brent's house? One, 2, 3.
Now we're getting back into that fall. We're right back into that fall talk.
Lightning strike.
I mean, I'm fascinated by safety, Ryan, because there's a lot of options. There's a lot of cards in the hand to see how Tyson Veidt is going to play them.
Is it a scenario where having too many, but not a set 3 good starters separating themselves is a bad thing, or do you just think right now it's like so many players?
Talent's never a bad thing.
No, but you got to get it down to max 5 guys.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying, Ryan? Like
yeah, you can't have a platoon of one, like a first unit and second unit. That's just, I don't think that's good for the defense. I think you need a consistent 4 guys out there, and that 4th guy being just kind of getting out there to give a guy a blow when he needs it. Pause, but
major pause.
Yeah, because you want that. That, like I said, it's the cornerstone of the defense. There's a lot of moving parts back there, a lot of checks, a lot of calls, a lot of different fits and different blitzes and different types of runs. So I believe finding 4 of our best players and, really having that 4th guy, push all 3 of them, to really, who wants to be the starters playing around that 80% of the snaps on defense, because we can't do like a full platoon job. That's just going to be a little bit discontinuous for the defense.
The roles are so different. I don't know that you're going to get it to 4, because I don't think there's going to be one guy that can move between all 3 spots. I think it's going to be at least 5, and it might be as many as you're just going to
Watch the YouTube version if you're listening to the podcast, because
I'm getting scared for you, brother.
I know it's a
I'm
brewing.
getting scared. Like, I could see trees in the background with that last bout of lightning. I think it might be you're just going to have kind of like almost a defensive line type rotation where there's 5 or 6, and I don't know if it's going to be like D line where you run them in and out. But I do think it's going to be, hey, this series, maybe we get this guy in. This series, we maybe get this guy in, and you're allowing yourself to keep them a little more fresh. It's similar to what I think with Jake Golday. Like, I don't think you want Jake Golday off the field a whole lot, but I do think the ability to give him a breather for a series has the opportunity to pay big dividends down the road and keeping him fresh, because he does play with some reckless abandon. And we saw that last year as you got to the end of the season, and he was beat up like that. He was worn down by the end of the year. So I don't know that it's going to be a platoon where, this is the ones, the next series you get the 2s and then the 1s come back in. But I do think you're going to regularly see 5 or 6 guys at safety, because I just can't. Harrison, Williams, Barnes, Gallicallard, Sanks. Are you going to be okay? Like, do you need to shelter in place?
Hurricane season's over, I think. So we're good. We're good for now.
I do think there's going to be 5 or 6 guys that are going to be on the field pretty regularly, Ryan.
Yeah.
Chad, I want to go ahead and get Danco Joe's question up here, and then we can wrap up the camp talk for the time being.
Success starts up front. Love the O-line report, but I need more. Joe, there's not a whole lot more yet. Like I said, they just put the pads on. So we're just now getting into the more on the O-line, D-line. And that is going to be something that we'll continue to focus on more. I just don't spend a lot of resources on it in those first couple days. First, 4 days that it takes to onboard everything, Brian?
Yeah.
2 days in helmets and shorts, 2 days in spider pads. Day 5, you really get to go. We've really only had 2 full days of padded practice. There will be more of that stuff coming. I think it's better saved for later when we have a better feel and can actually glean something from it. We can learn something from it, when I just don't think there's much you can learn when they've got helmets and shorts on, or even, spider pads a little bit. They grab a little bit more with the spider pads on, Ryan. Those offensive linemen start to hold when you got your spider pads on. But it's something we've always done, that we focus on it more towards the end, like middle of the second week into the first scrimmage, which is coming on Saturday, and then into the third week, the last week of camp. It feels more productive that way.
I just based purely off of look, though, does it look like they've got the size of?
They're huge.
A Big 12 caliber offensive line.
Joe Cotton's 6'7", 320 pounds.
Yeah. Tarantaya looks massive.
6'5", 320 pounds.
Yeah.
You're not talking. Look, I said this last night when Aaron and I were talking. It used to be like if you had a 300-pound offensive lineman, 300 pounds don't cut it no more.
Yeah.
These guys are 315, 320, 325, and carrying the weight pretty well for most of them.
And then, Nico mentioned how Gavin was told that he needs to add some weight as well, so I'm sure he's working hard to add that.
Up in that 315 plus, like they look much more like a Big 12 offensive line in terms of drilling down to, the one-on-ones and how they're doing, in the team periods. Like that's all stuff that we're going to learn a lot more about tomorrow, Wednesday, Friday, and then obviously that first scrimmage on Saturday.
Okay. Well, that's about it's about as good as a little wrap up of week one of camp that we can absolutely get. Anything more, Aaron or Ryan, or you ready to timestamp and move on to riffing?
It with me.
All right, that timestamp brought to you by the thunderstorm outside Brent's house. Actually, just kidding. It's brought to you by Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They service over 150 restaurants with weekly, low minimum next-day deliveries. They provide a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick, 513-470-2029, and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
Boom, baby. Boom.
Fill up my water cup. I'll be right back.
Okay. As he goes to fill up said water cup, I'm gonna pass the rock to my friend, my good buddy, Mr. Ryan Royer, the legend of the hidden temple of weddings. Take it away.
All right. So you are your life is on the line, and you need to pick your best receiver to go up against the defense's best cover guy.
Okay.
Who are you taking from your Bearcat offense
Today? I mean, like this year, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm interested to hear Chad's answer to this because, like, it does seem like a lot of these practice reports and things, people are gushing about two guys in particular. And, that's Caldwell and Cyrus Allen. Aaron, am I right there, you think?
I think so. Can I take Joe Royer?
Ooh.
You can.
That's who I would take.
What's the yardage we have to pick up on this?
Just said make a catch.
Just
It's a one-on-one at the red zone. So let's call it like the 18-yard line.
Okay.
Are we making a first down catch? A touchdown catch?
It's just a one-on-one drill. Whoever wins the rep.
Taking Joe Royer.
I'll go Caldwell.
I'll go Cyrus Allen. He's got the little shake to him, a little bit more shake than any of those other guys. Ryan, I can't wait for you to see Caldwell.
Yeah.
Because he I don't think he looks like what you think he looks like. Like he is not skinny.
Does he look like Alec? With a couple inches taller?
Couple inches taller. His legs are longer than Alec. Alec is more torso and arms, but his legs are long, but they're not. You would think a guy like that with like the freakish traits that they attribute to him would be like kind of the, he'd look like if you hit him real hard in his thigh, like his leg would snap. That's not Jeff Caldwell. Like he's got some bulk to his core that I didn't expect. Like when you first saw him on campus, especially those guys that have like late growth spurts, they tend to be really thin. He's not, but I think Cyrus Allen's got a little wiggle to him that in a just straight one-on-one red zone situation, I would count on him getting open probably at the top of the list right now. The starters, Danco, Joe. The starters. Joe Cotton has been impressive. Like, I don't have anything more to give you on the offensive line, Joe. I love it. I don't have anything more to give you yet. Like, it's like reading a book, right? You want to know what happens in the middle of the book in the beginning, but you got to wait till we get to the middle.
There.
I go Cyrus Hound. I like the cut of his jib.
Okay.
We ain't slowing down over here.
Can't
I
stop,
just like
won't stop.
I just like Caldwell because it sounds like some of the the play of the day, if you will. A lot of the time it's like he soared up over 3 defenders and pulled in a contested 20-yard catch. So
I worry about that a little bit with him, Brent.
yeah.
Just because, one, he has not been a guy that was big his whole life. He was 5'8" his senior year in high school. And then he shoots up to 6'4", 6'4.5", where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been playing at a smaller level.
Yeah.
So I think it's been probably pretty easy for him to go up and make catches over FCS defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is stepping up a level that is going to challenge him on those contested catches. Because there have been a couple that I think he should have made the play, and he probably would tell you he should have made the play that he didn't.
Right. Yeah.
So that would be the reason I didn't like it. If he had been as consistent as I'd like him to be, I think it'd be easy. You just throw him the fade, he'll go up and get it, and you move on.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have that level of confidence yet in his ability to go up and get that fade ball. I think he'll adjust, but I think it's going to take, I think it takes time.
It also comes with him and Sorsby developing their chemistry too.
And corners are just bigger, Ryan, than what he's used to facing.
Yeah.
They're bigger, they're stronger, they're more physical.
6'1", 6'2", 210, not like the 5'11", 180, 190.
Well, and even the 5'11" guys here are longer.
Yeah.
And they're more athletic, they're more physical than, the 5'11" kids at the FCS level. So, that's just an observation, Brent, on if he was there yet, I probably would have a number one on this, but I think he's still, learning to adjust to this level. And Cyrus Allen just came from the SEC. And the Lord in Florida agrees with me.
I mean, it's I'm looking it up. Looks like it's going to continue through the pod, baby. We got heavy thunderstorms with wind. 100%, 99, 93%. So we bring the lightning and the thunder. It's like an Imagine Dragons song out here, right?
Oh my God.
All right, Roy.
All right, number 2. So let's say we're coming into camp. The excitement / confidence meter was sitting at a 5, dead in the center of 0 to 10. After practice 6, where is your excitement confidence meter? I don't think anyone's going to say it's dipping below the 5. So how much has it ticked up for you guys?
To be honest, mine, it only took like 2 practices for me to go from like 5 to 100. So I'm all the way up there. It's like, because I just like slowly think more and more about like all the different pieces. And it's like, truly, if Sorsby just takes a big step, like, I don't know. The excitement is pretty. It's hard to temper it. Sorsby takes a big step, and then obviously you've just got this health. You've got I think Jake Golday. It's like the perfect mix of guys in their second season in the program, whether it be transfers that came in, whether it be underclassmen who had to play last year, and then it just mixing together. And then you add in like high level receiving options to go with those guys that are in year 2, whether it be Pryor and Royer and Sorsby, and then the offensive line, you add massive pieces. Slowly but surely, my excitement level.
You're a 10.
I'm 100.
Let's go.
I've been probably higher on this team than I have been in a while. I think I probably came into camp higher than a 5 anyway. So I think it's fair to say I'm at about an 8 right now.
But he's saying hypothetically, if you were at a 5, where would the news from the first week have moved you to?
I still think I'm at about an 8. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I can get any higher than that right now. But I think that I still think that the ceiling on this team is somewhere around 10, 11 wins. Not 11, probably 10. I think that I don't think that's crazy to think that this team could win 10 games. So hearing that the receiving core is coming together, hearing that the defense is coming together, and like Chad said, that there's not these giant ebbs and flows of, well, the offense won 4 days in a row, or the defense won 6 days, and we're still waiting to see the offense figure it out. I think that the splits it's a good thing. Either that or just maybe they're all bad, but I don't think that's the case. So, I'm saying 8.
Probably about a 6.5. I'm not too far out over my skis yet. Again, because I think a lot of this, like, I don't think any of what we're seeing in the past week has told us what is this team going to look like in the fourth quarter of a close game.
Yep.
And that's where it's, that's where it's hard for me to, like, if the baseline is 5, we're starting at a 5. I do like what I've seen. So it's gone up, but I'm not to the point yet where I'm out. I'm comfortably behind my skis. I'm in the air. I've launched, but I'm not at that point yet. That point where they're leaning over in the ski jump, and like the skis are like all the way even with their face. I'm not there yet. I'm out over my skis, but I'm not like touching my nose to them yet. So I would say probably a 6.5, because I think the things that this team needs to go from 5 to 7 or 8 wins, I don't think we're going to see at Camp Higher Ground. I just don't know that it's something I'm going to walk out of Camp Higher Ground and go, one way or the other, I feel they're going to be better in those gut check moments, or I feel like they're going to be worse in those gut check moments. The thing how much does special teams, if special teams is strong, Marcus hits on this here, how much does special teams change that equation? Not giving away yards in the second and third quarter that put stress on your defense and put stress on your offense to have to match a 40-yard punt return that results in a touchdown, where if you get the guy at the spot and he fair catches, and maybe they have to punt and you get the ball back. Like, a lot of that stuff, I just don't know that we're going to see. I will say Steven Rusnick has been very good. He pushed 2 a little wide right on Tuesday. I haven't seen him miss since. He's hit 50-yarders to end practice, hit a 52-yarder Saturday. It was good by about a yard. Like, if it was from 53, he probably would have hit the bottom crossbar. But from 52, he put it through, and they got to end practice. So I'll go 6.5 for now. But the arrow is up.
Let's go.
I like it.
I was sitting right around that 7 myself too.
See, I thought you'd say we couldn't do 7. I was waiting for that, so I didn't go 7.
There, I forgot my famous.
That's your rule.
I know.
Yeah, you broke your own rule, Royer.
Shit.
Unreal.
In your own segment, you broke your own rule.
One thing I couldn't do. All right, final question. Who do you guys have is coming out as your MVP of week 2? Who do you think's going to have the best week, offense, defense?
Offensively, I hope it's just like Sorsby. Like, I hope that all the reports are like Sorsby's been absolutely locked in this second week. Obviously, it's been a lot of the receivers, and obviously that has to do with Sorsby as well. But I wanted to just hear like things like Sorsby's absolutely dialed, because I remember
like last Wednesday he was locked in.
Right, exactly. Like I remember coming to some camps back when Dez was there, Slinging the Rock, and like you just had the feel of like, okay, that's an NFL caliber player. Like even my first year on
that's
the beat,
an NFL backup quarterback.
Well, come on, he started a full season. Let's not slander the man, but it's. You could just tell with him. Like I want this week to be like the kind of the Sorsby party where it's like, yeah, he's absolutely on fire. And then defensively, give me one of the cornerbacks like really stepping, and not cornerbacks, safeties. Give me one of the safeties separating themselves as like the clear star of, not necessarily the star position, but like the clear, like this guy is going to be a backbone of the final level of the defense. So any of the safeties really stepping out, and then Sorsby offensively.
I would say, not to double up on Brendan Sorsby, because I think that's the answer. But I'd say Caldwell, because we've heard Cyrus Allen all week this week, and if Caldwell can put a week that Cyrus Allen has had, and now you have two receivers that are putting weeks like that back to back, especially a guy who has physical traits that are really hard to match up against. And if he has a monster week, I think that would be massive for the offense. Defensively, though, on the other hand, I think Logan Wilson, if he has a week, because Matthew McDoom he's been the talk of the cornerback room at this point. If Logan Wilson has a week like that, and now you have two guys, again, that's kind of the same thing, kind of the same answer, just for offense and defense. But if you got a second guy who's pushing the top guy like that, that's great for that room. And that's a room that we've definitely needed to see improvement from.
If you haven't watched Logan Wilson today, go watch, because he's incredible. I love talking to Logan Wilson.
Talking to him is the best.
I love that the trash talking has amped up. Like,
yeah,
I just remember Sauce jabbing the entire practice with Alec and the receivers. I remember Myles, obviously chopping with Hudson. Just I need that trash talk back. I'm happy that he's saying that they're being loud and the talk is amping up.
But I thought Logan gave a perfect answer today when I asked him, like, Friday you guys got beat up a little bit. You answered the bell on Saturday. Like, do you lose sleep at night knowing they got the best of me yesterday? And he's like, no, like it's snap to snap, day to day. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Doesn't linger in my brain. All I'm worrying about is, the next rep and going and getting the guy the next time, which that's what they talk about. Great corners have. Great corners don't linger. So if he would have given me the politically correct answer, I actually would have thought less, because I would have said, I don't know, man. If he's letting that linger into the night and it's in his brain, that's not what they talk about great corners, like how their brain works. And instead, he's like, I just worry about the next time going out there and making a play. And he did that a little bit today. He had a pass interference in the end zone, where I think Caldwell got him, and it's such a big dude. Like, you got to do something to keep him from making a touchdown grab. So he kind of got a little extra physical with him, but then the next time out, he made a good play. So I really like what we're seeing so far from McDoom and Wilson. I think it's for defense. I think it's got like one of the linebackers really stepping up. Like we haven't talked a lot about linebacker yet. Some of that is because they're not really running the ball like full go. So that's where your linebackers are going to really excel. But the best versions, I've talked about this for 2 years, a year and a half since Tyson Veidt got hired. The best versions of the Iowa State defense are years where they had 3 all-conference linebackers, not just a stud linebacker, but 3 guys on the all-conference team at linebacker. Linebacker is such a critical part of this equation in this defense. Which one of them is going to be the one that gets after the quarterback? Which one of them is going to make some plays in coverage? Which one of them is going to step up and be that, kind of enforcer in the run game where you have Dante Corleone and Jalen Hunt taking up a ton of space? Who's going to fill the gaps and make the tackle and put you in 2nd and 9 instead of 2nd and 5? And things should start getting more physical from here because we're getting closer to that first scrimmage. The pads are on. You're not going to see full contact, but you're going to see a little bit more physicality. So I'm ready to see a little bit more from the linebackers. And I'm ready for the Evan Pryor breakout at some point in time this camp. He started a little slow, had a little bit of a soft tissue limitation. He is back. He is starting to flash a little bit. As we get into this weekend, I'm ready to see Evan Pryor show us what he showed us some in the spring, that he's ready to run in between the tackles a little bit. He's able to hit some singles and doubles and also still hit the home run.
I agree. I like it. Roy, you got another one?
You know how we do it, Brent.
Hey, man.
Tell the people.
You and I have been texting a lot recently, man. A lot. And I appreciate every time you send me a text. I really do. Keeps me alive. Truly does. But we were gonna do that one about the Speedway series or whatever it was, the infamous crazy what the heck happened
MLB Fyre Fest.
In Bristol. But there's a question about that in the mailbag. So I'm going to bring up another thing we talked about, because I went to a nice live band this past weekend on Saturday night. A local kind of known squad, and it was absolutely fun. Then all my friends went to the Stapleton concert in Indy. They were sending videos and pics and stuff from it, and then obviously Lala was this past weekend. You saw a lot of footage coming from that, and then of course you saw also on Sunday night a little Rufus the Soul concert in Indy. A lot of friends went to that. So you and I were talking, what is your perfect typical vibe for a concert, for live music? What is your go-to? Is it festival? Is it something just a small local bar with a really good jam band getting after it? Is it a concert with a jam band? What is the perfect typical setting for a summer concert?
Me, I gotta go country concert, outdoors. That's my favorite.
Okay.
Worst.
And anyone in particular? Are we talking Zach Brown band? We gonna go with Luke Combs?
Yeah, I've
Brad
seen
Paisley?
Zach Bryan, Kenny Chesney, Old Dominion. I like the Zach Bryan concert the most because I'm a bigger fan of his than I am of Kenny. I saw the Creed concert at Riverband was probably the most electric, but it's more of it's more high energy. So it's I think I prefer just chilling a little bit with the music.
Yep.
Then I also saw MGK do his punk album in an outdoor venue downtown. That was probably my favorite concert I've been to.
Nuts.
So I went with all my friends. Yeah, it was pretty intense. But yeah, the vibe, the best way to take it in is probably country concert outdoors, summertime.
At a concert venue.
Yeah.
Okay. We can get behind that. Aaron, what are we thinking?
I like being out in the lawn area of a concert. Some things go down in the lawn that don't happen necessarily in the seated area.
That's the truth.
What's that, Aaron?
Yeah. Aaron, what happens out there, buddy?
You get to hang out with your friends in a circle. You can talk to everybody instead of just being in a line.
Yeah.
I think you hang out with your friends in a circle different than I hang out with my friends in a circle.
But
It's thinking the same thing. Chip.
I've been to a rap concert, and rap concert I don't feel it's not
don't love
album
rap
quality.
concerts.
It's not
I don't
great.
love
Not
rap
great.
concerts.
Nope.
I
saw Lil Wayne, and it was terrible.
I am the hip hop aficionado of hip hop aficionados.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I don't love rap concerts.
Mhm.
Post Malone was bad when he did his rap album. Like when he was still doing rap. I don't know what he's doing with concert or with country. But whatever. But give me like punk rock or like the Foo Fighters or something like that.
Rock. I rock.
Yeah.
I think I'm with
I'm gonna
you.
go see Blink 182 this September at Riverband.
I've seen Blink
Ooh.
like 10 times. They're great.
And I'm a little. The only thing I really don't do is country. It's just not my jam. But jam bands, rock, hip hop, pop. Like I've you'd be surprised. You know what the sneaky best concert I've ever seen? I think I've told this here before.
I'm still shocked at MGK. So
I didn't see MGK.
well, I'm saying
Royer.
Right.
that guy.
Go.
Dude,
Go.
I love his punk music.
I used to have to work when I was doing promotions for Q102. I used to have to work concerts at Riverbend. And one of the things when you worked a Riverbend concert, once you're in with the station van, you can't leave until everybody else has left. All patrons have to be out of the venue. So you would get there and you would kind of be stuck. And I think it was it might have been like a Bare Naked Ladies concert that I had to work. And the opening act was Alanis Morissette.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it was legitimately a top 3 concert. She was fucking awesome.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, she is.
Like, if you ever have a chance to go see Alanis, do it. Because it was like the truest to like the record or like what, you know,
Album quality. Yeah.
Album quality. She was like, it was Jagged Little Pill on stage, essentially.
Hell yeah.
So I'm a little all over the place concert wise.
Mm-hmm.
One, rock concerts I think are the best concerts because I think they're the closest to, for the most part, the closest to what you get on an album.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick any, you know what I freaking love? Dark, dank jazz bar.
Okay.
With like a saxophone and a piano and just a drummer that's, you know, just
liking this.
I love going to a good jazz bar, having a couple cocktails or whatever, maybe, you know, check out the garden before you go to the bar, some broccoli, something of that nature. But I love a good jazz bar. Love a good jazz bar.
I love it. I'm surprised Ryan's not like Lollapalooza, man. Take me there. Bonnaroo. I'm in.
I don't do that.
Yeah. Did for a bit, but not anymore.
If you were my age, you would have. It was different back then.
Go see some Limp Bizkit.
Oh, baby.
If you're trying
just
to
one of those days.
If you're trying to mosh, like if you're trying to really mix it up, yeah. I can see you in a mosh pit.
Back in the day it was like, hey, let's spend $50 to go to a Dave Matthews Band concert to just hang out with your friends out in the lawn and not really even listen to music. And the next day your parents are like, hey, so what was your favorite song last night? And you're like, I couldn't even tell you what they sang. So that and like OAR was another good one. But yeah, nowadays it's like people watching and getting after it yourself. I love a good Fish concert. Like, why not? Just
dude, it's everybody's my age. Everybody's like 48 years old and just like smoking some joints, listening to Fish.
Soaking in,
pretty much it anymore.
Soaking in just the surroundings, what the hell's going on. But I agree, Ryan. A good country concert can really get the vibes rolling. And
The scenes at country concerts, the optics at country concerts are very good. The
Dude, yeah. I'll
the
tell you about
music,
that.
not so much.
The Creed concert, you had like, I feel like we had this podcast room was like the full demographic of like age on display, because you have like the people that like loved like the new age like rock music, I'd say kind of pushing towards Chad's age, and then like when they were actually coming on big was probably when, you know, Aaron, and maybe not so much, maybe they're right. You were probably a little bit younger for them, Brent. But then now, like my generation, they kind of turned into like a meme, like a Nickelback type of thing.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
like, people started.
Oh, yeah.
So like then you had like the whole the young side of it, and it was awesome because everyone was just going nuts, jamming out. And they hadn't been on tour in like almost 15 years. So you had people just chomping at the bit for their Creed. It was the most interesting squad I've seen assembled at a concert, but it was awesome.
You want to hear the most interesting concert I've ever been to? You guys won't know who this is, but there was a super group called Oysterhead.
Okay.
Oysterhead was Trey Anastasia from Fish.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the hippies, right?
Right.
Les Claypool from Primus, which is the Freaks. Ryan, are you familiar with Primus?
No, the Freaks is how you describe them.
Oh, yes. Aaron, would that be an accurate description of Primus fans? Freaks?
It's like Slipknot type
Okay,
stuff,
yeah.
right?
No. It's Les Claypool, the bass player, like really weird bass-led. One of his most famous songs is Wynotto's Got a Big Brown Beaver. and then Les Claypool from the Police. Or not Les Claypool. The drummer from the Police, Stuart Copeland, which was like the old pothead like hippie group. And it was at this like 2,000 seat auditorium at Purdue. You know what I'm talking about, Brent?
Yes. I've been there.
Where every employee in that place, you had like, if you were under 70, you couldn't work there. And you had this weird collection of freaks and geeks that were like crawling through this place, and these 70-year-old employees that were like, what the fuck is happening right now?
I love it.
It was awesome. It was a phenomenal show.
We all need to go to a concert, and I think Royer kind of sold us all on the Creed option. Maybe like Creed when they perform in the Sphere. Let's just go.
They're coming back to Cincinnati. They're doing Heritage Bank though this time, which
yuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear? So Luka Doncic got his big contract extension. The first thing he did was fly to Vegas and go see Backstreet Boys in the Sphere. We gotta do something like that when like the YouTube channel hits like 5,000 followers.
I thought you were going to say you put a bid in on Heritage Bank, and that would have been great.
That would have been fun. That would have been next level. But Royer, great job like always. Let's timestamp. Let's get it rolling. Let's roll.
This timestamp brought to you, as always, by Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supplies, to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins. They've been open since 2009 and are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call Nick 513-470-2029 and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first purchase.
Boom, baby. Some
the tryout is complete.
Oh,
good luck to that team this season.
The tryout. Good luck. Please. Odds and ends real fast. Tie together some things. And then we'll do mailbag. Couple commits. First, Keegan Nicholson got to write an article about another guy with the name Keegan. That's Keegan Horn, a 19th commit in the 2026 class. Edge out of Alabama, a little Hueytown, Alabama. Chad, anything? Obviously, good size for Keegan Horn. kind of, hopefully that pass rusher that you need in each class.
Yeah, I mean, the question, he's about 225 right now. So he looks like he should have the frame to put on the type of weight to play on the line. But if not, is he more of a linebacker type? Is he, more of a stand-up, like rush linebacker? Is he going to get into that frame to be a defensive end? So, I think that's the question mark, at least right now, is where does, and a lot of time it doesn't matter where you project them. It's what does their body respond to when they get here and they get into the nutrition program and the strength program, and what's the right weight, what's the right fit for them coming in. It'll be interesting to see what kind of senior year he has. Obviously, they're pretty big on guys that are trending up. So where does that arrow point as he goes through his senior season? But yeah, I think the type of guy that you're looking for, the right height requirement, the right length requirement. Really the only unknown for me is the weight. Where does that lead him?
Okay. Fair. And then basketball, obviously there's a lot of talks around that side of things, but one thing that happened was Jordi Rodriguez. A lot of reports, and he'll be playing for Cincinnati next season.
Wow, not my reporting.
Right, a lot of reports on the Everything app, X.com, Twitter, if you will. 6'6" wing, Spain. Played with Baba Miller. He can shoot the ball. If you watch his highlights, he is shooting leaners. He's shooting off 1 foot. He's shooting set shots. It looks like a guy that can make shots in multiple ways, especially from deep. What's your pulse on the whole situation, Chad? Obviously, you've said some things on the board as well coming to this, but man, it just seems like another addition offensively that, if it goes through, obviously will be only amp up the ability to shoot from the outside.
So my understanding of where things are at, I think both sides would like for this to work out, or are working towards this being a thing. The international players, this is where it takes longer. And this is why I'm a little bit slower on the jump than most on the international guys. The way that the international system works is when you're identified as a potential like long-term talent, you go into their club system. And that's kind of where you do your school. You play basketball through the club system, and they control your amateur status. So you get paid or you get stipend or whatever, but you remain an amateur. And then in order to get through the clearinghouse, the club has to work with the NCAA on proving amateur, if they've done some college, how much college have they done. I think that's why you've seen some people suggest he might be like a sophomore when he comes in. If he's done some schooling over in Europe, it dictates where he would enter into the NCAA college system. There's just a lot of paperwork, red tape, if you will. There's a lot to sort through before they go through the clearinghouse and then actually come over and become a part of your program. Cincinnati is in that process with Jordi Rodriguez. Do I think it happens? Yeah, I think it eventually gets across the finish line and gets done. But I don't think we're at a point yet where I'm ready to come out fully and say it's done, because I don't think it is done. I think it's a work in progress.
Stuck in customs.
Kind of, yeah. But hey, 6'7" kid that can shoot. Okay. Can he defend? Probably not. Is he a great, vertical athlete? Is he super bouncy or whatever? No. But he shoots a lot and he makes a lot. and he does it at a really high level of basketball, especially playing with the Spanish team, which is United States, France, Spain. Like those are the best international programs right now behind the United States.
Yeah.
So he's been playing on the national team for a long time. That's how him and Baba Miller know each other. There's actually a video. If you didn't see on the message board, Baba right now is over in Spain and playing at a camp for the national team. It's like him and Jordi are on the select team. They do that with the U.S. sometimes. They'll have a camp. They'll have the main team. And then like the college guys are on the select team that play the NBA guys. Baba and Jordi are over there right now doing that. Wes actually, I believe, went over there yesterday. So Wes is over watching those guys play.
If he ends up on the team, do we have more international players than domestic players?
I don't think so, but it's close.
I think that's maybe already the case.
Celestine,
you got
Canadian.
Chom. Yeah.
Chom,
Celestine,
Kerr,
Halveen,
Baba,
Baba,
Jordi.
That would be 6 of 15. Take out the 2 walk-ons. That would be 6 of 13. It would be just under half the team.
Nuts.
Yeah. That is.
Basketball in 2025.
That's how it is. All right, Mailbag. Let's roll. Oh, well, quick shout out to the Hall of Fame class. Tony Pike, Mike Mickens, and the third name, I am sorry.
There's 7.
There's 7.
Oh, 7. Okay, 7 names. All I saw was a football one. That must have just been from the football.
There's a guy from the 70s.
Tom Marvasso.
Yeah.
Okay.
No men's basketball.
Meredith Glenn, the women's soccer head coach from 84 to 2007. Tom Marvasso, football from 73 to 75. Mike Mickens from 05 to 08. Jesse Nevitt from volleyball 05 to 08. Tony Pike from 04 to 09. KB Sharp from women's basketball 99 to 2003. There's your class. Let's get to the mailbag.
Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. All right. Start off in the football portion of the mailbag. Over under 210 yards rushing versus Nebraska. Over under 270 yards passing versus Nebraska. Awful early to start doing these over unders, but it sounds like somebody's trying to hit a lick on the old betting sites.
Under rushing, under passing.
So let's do Pitt as kind of the barometer, I guess, from last year. They had 298 passing yards and 151 rushing yards.
What was that again?
298 passing yards, 150 rushing yards, 151 rushing yards.
Say over or under on rushing, over on passing.
I'm with Ryan. I think just under on both. I think there's a little more balance, like 175 rushing, 250 passing, something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope over for one of them.
Yeah, but you can still win if you're at 202. Like if you got 450 yards of offense, 425 yards of offense, you can still win the game.
All right. How's the team looking health-wise heading into the second week of camp?
That was a question earlier as well. But so far, so good. Hasn't been anything major. There's always going to be a guy gets dinged up and is probably fine, but they sit him out for a day or two. But there hasn't been any oh shit instances to date. Knock on wood.
All right. And the last question from the football portion of the mailbag. I know it's early, but what is your sense of the fan support? Is it solid or tenuous?
think it's always solid at the beginning of the season.
I think a lot rides on that Nebraska game. Like,
I do too, especially because it's neutral. Like,
Yeah.
everybody's going to have a week to
Is it?
make a decision to decide if they're in or out. Like, and I think a lot of people are going to make that decision based on what happens 9:00 Thursday, September or August 28th in Arrowhead Stadium.
yeah,
I will
'cause
say
then-
that the Twitter Nebraska fans they're a crazy bunch. All you have to do is retweet anybody from Nebraska and they will come at you 50 deep. I saw it happening all over Twitter today. But they are sharks in the water.
So far, I have stayed out of it. The good news is I'm probably going to be really busy all the way up to August 28th. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to get in the mix. But if I do, that looks like a group of people that I could have a lot of fun with between now and August 28th. I'm just saying.
My favorite thing about any of the Twitter beef, especially when you're talking about college teams, is the lack of education that seems to show up in the responses. Because my goodness,
I love the you're not very smart, and they spell your like Y-O-U-R. You're not very smart, or yeah.
Right. Well, there's a way to see who's smart here.
You get an F on that post, actually.
Your grammar
All right.
is way off.
that was the football portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the basketball portion of the mailbag. Is this year's Maui Invitational arguably the worst field in decades? What are your thoughts on the future of the older MTE tournaments? Can they remain relevant, or what changes will they have to do? If you want to see the teams on there, I'll pull it up here for the YouTube.
It's not great. It's very mid, as the kids would say.
Yeah.
NC State, Washington State, USC, Texas.
And the funny thing is, like, it's like a bad group with the year that Chaminade's in it too. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my
Creighton.
gosh. And it's a Chaminade year. Yeah. So Arizona State, Boise, Chaminade,
Seton Hall.
USC. I mean,
it's not good.
That's rough.
I would, if you were a fan, Brent, would you be pissed? Like if Cincinnati, say you take out Washington State and you put Cincinnati in, and Cincinnati's in with those other 7 schools, would you be pissed?
I
Like,
mean,
if you
I'd
bought
say
tickets-
win the damn thing, please. If not, then yes, I would absolutely be pissed, because that's just a lot.
If you're
of those
Texas,
games.
you're pissed, right?
It's a lot of those games that you kind of like hate because it's like
if you win, it doesn't do anything.
high
And if you
risk-
lose,
high risk, low reward. Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, there's maybe one tournament team in there, like, and you're talking like they were in the playing game last year. That's nuts.
Yeah,
So
it's not a
that's
great
why.
field. The answer is NIL.
By comparison,
Yeah, exactly. The money runs everything.
By comparison, here's the lineup for the Las Vegas Players era. You've got Rutgers versus Tennessee, Creighton versus Baylor, Kansas versus Notre Dame, St. John's versus Iowa, Houston versus Syracuse, Auburn versus Oregon, Gonzaga versus Alabama, Michigan versus San Diego State, and UNLV versus Maryland.
The Zogs are playing Alabama, Aaron?
Potato.
No, it's not.
I still go back to the look. I say it the way that there was this kid who used to interview Obama when he was doing the tournament stuff, and he'd say Gonzaga, and I still go back to that. I hear it in my head every time I say it.
Just remember, it's the Zags, Gonzaga. If it was the Zogs, then it would be Gonzaga.
Amen. Money. Money is the
Change
answer
your
to
school
that.
name
One.
to something that's
Money is
an
the answer.
English word.
All right.
All right. Moving on. My initial assumption for this year's roster was that Jizzle was going to step up and lead this team. With mostly new faces and Jizzle's uncertainty, who do you see becoming the team leader? Day-Day Kerr, or more of a team effort to hold each other accountable?
I think Day will definitely have a role as a team leader, as a guy that's been here for a long time, has been in the system, knows the expectations. I think Buck is going to be a leader of this team. I think he's got the personality. I think he's got the work ethic. I think he's got a standard that he holds himself to, that he will hold others to. So I think you'll see him maybe be a little bit of that like locker room type leader. It might not be outward, might not be something you see, on the court all the time. But I think like if somebody's screwing around in practice, Buck will be waiting at the locker for him when they come back in. So I think he's going to be an important one. And I think Kerr could fit into one of those roles as well. But as we're learning, Kerr is goofy.
He is.
He is goofy. I don't know if I want Kerr. I think my personality is probably a lot like Kerr. I think he's trying to get laughs.
He's sensible. If you're singing, if you're doing anything with Bob Mangine, that's the right pick.
Right. But he's doing it like with humorous intentions. So I think there will be some leadership stuff with him, but I don't know how serious you take Kerr all the time.
He seems like when the bright lights turn on, he steps it up.
Yeah.
So, I think Day-Day's got to be the answer there, just because like he's been there, vocal, maybe like Slime's upperclassman, older, but like it's got to be a team collective effort because I mean definitely the way they recruited it did seem like Jizzle was going to be the guy that takes that next step. I keep also thinking about it, and it's like, and maybe not kind of like the step up, lead the team type thing, but I just think like Shanabayev as the year goes on, I think can just evolve into being a little bit more than what we like. Got to temper expectations, but I think as the season wears on, the whole freshman becomes a sophomore thing. I just think he's so high level to the point where hopefully he can be that guy that has the ability to take over in times.
If there's any leadership that happens with the freshmen, I think it'll be Tillery.
Yeah, him too. Yeah, the way that people have been talking about him as well. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Questions for the season. Number 1, which Bearcat guard is the first to dish out 7 assists in a game? Number 2, which Bearcat rebounder is the first to snag 10 rebounders? 10 rebounds in a game. Number 3, who will lead the team in minutes per game? Number 4, over under 68% for team free throw shooting. And number 5, who will be the first Bearcat to score 20 points in a game?
Those first ones are so hard because like you're talking about bye games. So who knows? Like who knows who's going to be the first one to get 10 rebounds? The assist one, it's probably Kerr. I could see maybe Day, but it's probably Kerr. Yeah. First to 10 rebounds.
Chom's the sneaky pick.
7 assists in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Man, maybe your friend circle is a lot like my friend circle. Maybe it's more like my friend circle than I thought.
Right. Right. Yeah, for sure. Now I can see Kerr in one of those early bye games getting like 11 assists by just trying to get assists. I think Chom is the rebounds.
I'll go Big Slime on the rebounds. First 20-point game. I'll go Baba.
Day.
I'll go Baba. Day Baba. Day Baba.
Baby talk over here.
Who leads the team in minutes per game?
I'll go Day. Especially if this ends without Jizzle on the team.
Yeah, I think Day-Day's
got to be definitely Day then.
And I think we all know the answer for over under 68% for team free throw shooting. Just none of us want to say it.
Come on. Under. Come on.
Death, taxes, and Bearcats missing free throws. All right. How many minutes do you see Tyler McKinley getting initially than in February?
I want it to be more than I'm going to say, but I just don't know where the minutes come from the way the roster is constructed.
Yeah.
I'll go 8 a game. Final answer.
Total.
Initially, then in February. 8 a game. I think it's his time's coming. I just don't know. As the roster is constructed, I don't know where it is this year.
Yeah, because
I mean that
February's also when it's like conference play. You gotta.
That's what I was gonna say. Conference play. Where's he getting 8 from?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I think he's getting like Arnton Page type minutes if he's getting minutes at all in conference play.
Mm-hmm.
But who is a player on this team that will exceed our exception? I think he meant expectation for that certain player.
Buck Harris. I'm all on the Buck train.
Depending on what your expectation is, I'd say either Tillery or Abayev. Especially if the Jizzle situation is whatever happens with it.
See, I think the Jizzle situation opens up even more for Buck.
Yeah.
I think that actually opens things up for Celestine. Because I have super low expectations for Celestine right now, as things currently stand.
Okay.
It does potentially, if Buck is going to play more of the 2, if Jizzle's not around, then there's more minutes at the 3 for Celestine. The problem is I don't know that he's a 3. He's more of a tweener 4, stretch 4. Although his better seasons were at Cal, where he was the 3.
3. Mm-hmm.
Ryan? Do you need Aaron to pull up the roster for you?
Are you muted, bud?
Kerr Creasa.
Okay.
I think he's going to step up and be a force.
I like it. I like it.
All right. That is the end of the basketball portion of the mailbag. Last question. Did Billy McFarland join MLB just to pull off Fyre Festival? Is what I think it auto-corrected. Fyre Festival 2.0 in disguise of a baseball game inside Bristol. What a shit show.
The problem here is that Major League Baseball took over the operation. Why in the world would you go into that place and not let the people that run events at that place run the goddamn event?
Mm-hmm.
How does that make sense?
You had nachos without cheese. You had hot dogs without buns. If you had food at all,
you had pizza without sauce. Aaron, they ran out of sauce, so they were baking pizza dough with pepperoni on it and no sauce. And charging full
bread.
Price.
That's just cheese bread. We get that all the time.
At full price? At the price of a pepperoni pizza?
Well, I mean, nothing's full price. Everything's full price times 6 at those events.
Reminds me of the IU game at Memorial Stadium. They ran out of water. They ran out of beer. So they were selling cups of water for like $7, and it was
cups of tap water.
It was hot as hell.
Cups of tap water.
At that point, you should just be like legally. I think you have to just give it away at that point. What are you doing?
I had canned wine. I was like,
what a terrible school
wine at that game. I mean, like,
what a joke. What a terrible school.
Great party school. I'll give them that much. That's for damn sure. Which also, did you hear that? So Bristol, like a buddy of mine was like trying to get an Uber to the airport, and like supposedly Ubers were like non-existent for that time when
you're in the middle of nowhere,
and like and they were super expensive, and it just the whole thing sounded like a big mess. But I don't know. It was interesting. Maybe have it in a bigger city next time with more accommodation, but who knows?
I know a speedway that's free.
Okay.
Sitting
Kentucky
vacant
Speedway.
down I-71. You can do it. Major League Baseball could buy that thing for like $1.
So did that game happen because like the Field of Dreams Stadium is
Yeah,
like
they're
getting
trying to
renovated or
do these
whatever?
other things.
Yeah.
So the idea
least they're-
here was it was going to be the
least they're trying to
most
do something.
attended baseball game in history with like 90,000 fans.
And then of course the Reds ended up losing. Just
And it rained, and what a mess.
joy.
That's the mailbag. Get us out of here, Brent.
Well, guys, we're back. We're back. It's week 2. It's currently week 2. Fall camp. That's right. The joy that is
Camp.
right before
Camp.
we kick off the season. I'm so
Camp.
excited for football to be back. Little over 3 weeks away. Oh man, Ryan, the text will be coming. So, guys,
Can't wait for
stay
the
locked
first.
in.
We're going to be rich.
Should I wear a hoodie to practice tomorrow because it's fall?
Yes.
Okay.
Make sure you got a lot of water available if you go that route. But yeah, man, it's football season. Excited to hear as more and more practices come through. Stay locked in. Bearcat Journal going to give you up.
Joe, there's more coming on the offensive line.
Plenty more coming.
Stay with us.
Stay with
We
us.
got 2 weeks left.
And with that, shouts to Danco, Joe, and Danco Transition Auto Care. Shouts to Quick Paper Supply. Shouts to the Cincy Light Studios. Shouts to everyone. But guys,
Greg Hooden, what's up?
Greg Hooden. Shouts to Greg Hooden. But without any more recollection, I'm gonna say for my guys, for my crew, for the squad, for Aaron Smith, for Chad Brendel, for Ryan Royer. I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!